Well, for what it's worth, we will go back at the highest levels of the day. That's been the sense of the momentum, the ferocity of this rally. Nishal Maheshwari of Central Broking is now with us. Nishal, there's so many naysayers, people who believe that this should be topping out, that this is too much too soon. What would you say, and how would you look at positioning now, given this fierce 7% move in March?
So I think I have maintained it earlier also on your channel. Basically, I think this is just a catching up which India is doing. So I'm not really worried about that the market is up 7%, but it had underperformed in the month of January and February when most of the world markets were going up. So I think that's a bit of a catching up which it is doing. And I think this is a broader trend across the world where all emerging markets are doing pretty well. So I don't see any reason to be really worried about saying that the market has gone up too fast, too soon, so now you should take away profits. I think we are getting into a good zone basically where rupee is appreciating, interest rates are going down. So I think even domestically, I think situation seems to be in a good spot. And internationally also I see that dollar is easing off. And that's why we believe and the interest rates are not going to be increased too fast. So I think these are all good spots basically to be in equities.
Okay, just about 1 minute left. Nishal, good afternoon. IT seems to be starting a fresh run. Your thoughts on whether it's a good time to perhaps get back into IT stocks?
IT stocks, I think, seems to be topping out is what I see, Anuj, clearly basically because last year when the outsourcing expenses went up for IT and they were only able to maintain the margins because the rupee depreciated against that. Now in the current year, basically when the rupee on an average, last year I think most of the guys did it around 72 rupees. If this time it is anywhere from 68 to 70. I think that kind of pressure is going to come on the margins. Now this year they have to build in more efficiencies into the system to get this. Yes, as far as business is concerned, I think it still is in a good spot. I continue to see that there is strong visibility as far as business is concerned, but I think margins should be under pressure on the going ahead.
Okay, well, we are down to the last few seconds of trade, so let's quickly close out. Anuj, what has been yet another stellar day?
Of course, that the dip was bought, 230 dip, and how, Surabhi, but the last hour essentially belonged to IT. The Nifty is ending at the highest point, and the Nifty future is ending at the highest point of the day, which is an indication of how start will be tomorrow morning as well. Tomorrow's expiry as well, weekly options expiry, 11,550-600 now looks a matter of time. Today's top gainers, you have HCL Tech, Bharti Infratel, Infosys, Reliance, ITC, Bharti Airtel. Not too many losers actually. Auto names like Eicher Motors, Hero Motocorp, Maruti, of course news driven. Some fall in JSW Steel and Larsen & Toubro as well.
Okay, well, let's quickly move to the mid-cap side of the screen. Here we've seen gains 0.7% higher on the mid-cap index. If I just talk about some of the big movers and shakers, then you do have stocks on the upside like Liberty Shoes, First Source, a couple of names like Bank of India, Godrej Properties was on the upside. Great day for Edelweiss, by the way, 5% up on that stock as well. India Cements has seen more buying, 4.5%. Quickly recapping the deal stocks of the day, basically where the buzz was. L&T, of course, on the large cap screen, we've already mentioned, has ended negative. But now if I talk about Mindtree and Cafe Coffee Day, again, slightly flattish trends towards the close on Mindtree, 2% lower. Cafe Coffee Day has ended down almost 3.5%. So these are the deal-oriented stocks. Apart from this, just keep an eye out on Jet Airways. We don't know what sort of developments we get by evening. Volatile day for that stock, ending in negative territory, down 3.5%, with some reports indicating that the government wants banks to come out with a bailout plan and not let this company go to bankruptcy. So that's a stock that will be on our radar. On that note, let's get back to our conversation with Nishal. Nishal, on cement, what are the thoughts? Because we've seen some interest come back. Volumes are good. There was a price hike, but a part of that price hike was also rolled back. Would you be a willing buyer of cement now?
Yes, I think cement shows us good value basically, and stocks have not gone anywhere if you look at it on the last 1.5 years. Given that there is more certainty as far as the outcome of the current the general elections concerned, and if the policies are going to be pursued, then I think you are saying that outlook on the whole construction sector is going to be pretty good. And in that kind of a scenario, I think cement should be one of the beneficiaries out of it. Valuation, as I told you, is in a pretty good spot. So I think this is a good time to actually accumulate cement.
Okay. Overall, Nishchal, what would the advice be on the mid-cap side of the screen? I mean, there is a lot of interest that's come back in select NBFCs. There's interest that's come back in the whole specialty chemicals universe. I mean, even today, a stock like Make Money, for instance, was up 6-7%. Which parts of the mid-cap market are you sort of, dabbling in?
So, as I told you, I think NBFC is a space which you have already identified. I think construction is another space which I like. Personally, basically, that seems to be in a good spot. Cement, you earlier talked about chemicals. I think these are all the spaces. Again, I think in case of building products, house building products, basically, that's another space in the mid-cap which seems to be in a good spot. So I think across the line you are seeing some recovery happening as far as stocks are concerned, and these are all stocks basically where I think they have hit a good level to acquire. So I think these are stocks which one can look at while looking at the mid caps.
Okay, all right. Nishchal, appreciate you joining us on the show today. A little short on time. Hope to have a longer conversation next time around.